I want to thank the organizers for offering the opportunity for GeoGLAM to talk during this session. Resource mobilization, of course, is very important to GeoGLAM. So moving right along, GeoGLAM works to fight food insecurity and support markets, food commodity markets, by reinforcing the international community's capacity to produce and disseminate relevant, timely, and accurate projections of agricultural production at national, regional, and global scales. Now, some of the operational activities include the crop monitor for the Agricultural Monitoring Information System, which monitors the major food producing regions of the world. And this information is produced primarily for the markets and is responding to a G20 mandate that was given to us in 2009. We launched this crop monitor in 2013 and it's done monthly. Based on the success of this, we later in 2016 developed the crop monitor for early warning. And this is monthly. It has the same kind of look and feel as the Amos crop monitor, but it focuses on food insecure regions of the world and looks at different crop mix that are regionally important for food security. And then in recent years, we found that where we can have the greatest impact is working with countries to co-develop their own crop monitors. And what we found is that when the countries develop their own information, it's really trusted, seen as being authoritative, and quickly turned into policies and programs which have a positive impact on food security and livelihood. Now, in the last year or so, we've also been developing special reports based on areas of emerging concern, and this came about due to a request from the United Nations. And what they said was that the monthly reports were not often enough in these areas of emerging concern. So we've developed a series of these reports, and you can find these at the cropmonitor.org website. And all this work is underlain by a strong foundation in research, including the Joint Experiments for Crop Assessment and Monitoring, which is a network of over 40 research sites around the world. So in terms of funding, it's a bit of a paradox. If you look at the GeoGLAM structure, we have many, many projects in the GeoGLAM universe, if you like, that both support institutional and national needs, but also feed into the global GeoGLAM objectives. Now, these are coordinated by a very small secretariat, which includes a program director and some support from a couple people, about half a person year. So over 90% of these contributions are in kind. They come from research projects, operational implementation, capacity co-development, and so on. And this in-kind support has been very strong, continuous, and stable. But the funding for the glue that holds us together, or that's the GeoGLAM Secretariat, has been uncertain and has come and gone over time, and it generally is the type of funding that is difficult to find. So we have a small secretariat, as I said, one full-time position, in-kind support. We have a target of about $500,000 a year, and we haven't actually met that target yet. We run on a fairly thin budget. So the Secretariat funding has been good and has come in the past from France, in the last couple of years from Germany. This year we're looking at funding from Canada and the United Kingdom, but looking forward from 2020, the funding is unsustainable. In fact, we have no funding post-2020 at this time, so it's something we have to work towards. Now, the nature of this funding challenge really is that the GeoGLAM supporters and contributors are primarily national research institutions, academia, and international organizations. And these organizations do not usually have direct access to international funding. The Secretariat support generally is not seen as a priority by them as well, because they're already supporting in a very significant way in-kind contributions. Also, the resource mobilization by the GeoGLAM Secretariat takes a lot of time and sustained effort. And as I said, we have a very small capacity. So it's really a way off of, do we do coordination or do we try to find the fundings to keep us going? We have to find that balance. But we are working to meet that challenge. In 2019, we hired a resource mobilization consultant, and kind of the central point of what he expressed was that using existing networks to identify and work with potential funding agencies was the best way to go. In particular, working with G20 nations that were kind of at the origins of GEOGLAM back in 2011, and primarily working on a bilateral basis, one-on-one with these potential partners. So we began working with the Geo Resource Mobilization staff, Stephen Ramage, of course, last year as well, and that's been very positive. But I must say the COVID-19 is making this work and this outreach and engagement, particularly from the GEOGLAM perspective, very difficult, and has brought a lot of uncertainty as to whether or not we're going to be able to continue our operation into next year. So with that, I'll just say thank you and look forward to the discussion.